Hey everybody, I'm Eddie Young and I'm glad to be the career development facilitator here at Fort Mill High School. I have two great friends of mine with us today, and we're going to talk a little bit about how social media can impact and benefit your career. Now, I'll be honest, I know sometimes we in school, we can really tell you all how bad social media is, and there are a lot of dangers. However, today we want to talk about the benefits of social media and how it can help your career. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves and then we'll get started. I'd say, well, let's go ladies first. So SJ,
Okay, sorry. Hi, I'm SJ Schwartz. I am a marketing coordinator at a local nonprofit in Fayetteville, North Carolina.
And hi, my name is Sean Rush Jr. I own Link Realty Advisors and Rush Hour Management, a real estate and property management company.
awesome. Thank you so very much for both sacrificing and volunteering your time to be here with us today. So first question, how do you or what do you define as social media?
Um, I'll take that one. So I look at social media very broadly as any sort of platform that allows an individual to create, interact, and participate in building a network. I know that's a pretty broad definition, but I think that captures most of it.
Good.
Yeah, I agree. And to piggyback off that, I think it's just anywhere that you can share information is the biggest thing. So it doesn't necessarily have to be this platform or that platform. Even a group of people just coming together and sharing that information can be considered social media.
Wow. And I tell you what, those are the beauty of those definitions is it really encompasses a lot of different things. I know typically from my generation, we're talking about a Facebook, maybe Twitter, but we can begin to include such things as, Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube. All these are great elements that typically come within social media. Now, how has social media impacted your work personally?
So I'll take that one first. Personally, social media has made a really large impact on my work. So with selling real estate and selling homes and helping people find homes, a lot of times people are just interested in the daily duties of a realtor, looking at different houses. And so I've been able to use social media not only just to show my expertise and just share what I'm doing throughout the day, but also to build other relationships with different vendors, and then also reach other potential clients. So personally, I get, I probably say 10 to 15 sales a year just off of social media alone. And so it's a relatively cheap slash free and expensive way to capture leads and then also just keep building your brand and spreading that way. So it's been a very big impact on my work personally. And so I continue to use it and try to get better with each day as well.
That's good. That's good.
So I mentioned that I'm in marketing now, so I'm always dealing with social media. But I got into marketing via fundraising and development, and I still largely do a lot of marketing for those areas. And for me, social media has allowed us to connect with other agencies, um, collaborate around mission and processes, and then also just thank our donors. It's a way to express gratitude. It's a way to creatively express gratitude and have it reach a bigger audience. I think that that's encouraging to people who give. Um, it also gives a sneak peek into what agencies are doing. It can give a more behind the scenes glance, which I think is very important, especially in the nonprofit world. I think it helps bring people into our doors that may not get the opportunity to visit us. And so it just gives us a broader reach. It's had a huge impact on our industry.
So I tell you one thing, one common thread that I'm picking up is this feeling of connectivity, feeling
Mhm.
like you both are now able to connect with people from many different walks of life, but also to do a lot of different things, everything from building the brand to just thanking people. So I think there are a lot of great benefits when it comes to social media for your career. So now, that's obviously a great segue to the next question. We all know about the benefit. We all know about the dangers or whatnot. But in addition to what you've already listed, what are some other benefits to social media for your career?
So I have experienced that social media, I mentioned it, is a great way to meet other people, but to meet other people and learn from them. It's a really awesome tool. Like I can see what other agencies are doing to serve their populations, what type of events they're doing for fundraising, um, things like that. And I think that's inspiring to me. I also think in just a marketing and creative space that I get to see what trends are out there. I get to see people having fun making and creating together, which I think is a powerful thing. Um, I also think that there's collective problem solving that goes on social media. So I'm thinking of a few things groups that I'm on Facebook, nonprofit groups, marketing groups, where these are people from all over the world. And we can go on and post a question. Has anybody used this software? Or has anybody tried this with their donors? Or what are you all doing, especially at the beginning of COVID? What are you all doing for your fundraising events this year? How are you bringing those online? And it's a collective hive of experience from all these other people that can really speak into your life and help you out. And so I think, again, it's that theme of connection. It's connecting with others and connecting to create and connecting to problem solve.
I'd say the collective or the group think tank for problem solving is priceless. To be able to do that with people who are in the trenches just like you. So that's great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I think part of that with one being able to connect at any time. So, for example, like you mentioned, let's say you're at a networking event or a conference or a meeting. Maybe you didn't grab that person's phone number. You can still actually look them up and connect 9 times out of 10 on a social media, be it a LinkedIn, Facebook, or possibly Instagram. And then also being able to educate yourself. So, there's a lot of jokey stuff on social media, on the internet, but then there's also a lot of opportunities where you can actually hone in on what you care about and really what you want to read. And a lot of times, when I started my career, there were things that unfortunately I wasn't receiving from the company I was with, and so I went other places and found bits and pieces of here. And to this day, I still do that. There's still realtors in California and across the country who I follow, and just different businessmen and women who I just learn things from, and it's easily accessible at my fingertips to where I can continue to educate myself, whether it's in real estate or if I want to move to another entrepreneurial direction. The opportunities are there because it's just so easy to grab it and go.
Wow. And I'd say you both have mentioned specific platforms that I want to really get down to the nitty gritty and to the details. How would you or do you use certain and specific social media platforms to help your career? Like, what do you actually do with them?
Okay. Yeah, I'll take that one.
All right.
So I think this is a two-part question. So my individual social media accounts, I think, suffer because I am in marketing, because I'm on social media all day. So it's funny when I go and do job interviews for marketing, I always bring in screenshots from the accounts that I have managed and data from other people's accounts that I've managed, because the data on my own isn't really representative of my skill set. So it's kind of a two-part question. I don't necessarily use my personal social media to help my career. I use others because I manage others' accounts. But in that, I'm showing my creativity. I'm showing that I know how to collect and monitor data, and I know what the trends are, and I'm able to grow that data and show improvement, show, that we're gaining followers, that we're keeping followers for longer periods of time. And so I think I definitely use social media to bolster not only my resume, but then to, whoever I'm working for in that moment to help build their brand, build their reach. And so I use the social media accounts that I've managed for others to prove that, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Makes sense. So I have an interesting, it's a little bit different than yours. So I actually kind of have to use my personal and my business in the sense of trying to take my personal and push people to my business works sometimes. And other times, a lot of times, because I'm kind of the face of the business, they'll still come to my personal page. So there's never really, in my opinion, in my business, a way to truly separate. However, I use it very often. I use Facebook, Instagram, and started a bit more on TikTok. Um, Instagram has been my biggest by far, and then Facebook as well, and then now TikTok. I start to use similar videos, but obviously shorter videos. But for me, it's really about increasing my visibility. And so I create some partnerships with different companies, different clients of mine, some of the athletes, and just try to get more visibility and then educate the population on whatever I may be working on. So for me, it's more about putting the information out so that if there's something that I talk about or I discuss, whether it's real estate or cleaning or property management, it grabs somebody's attention for them to reach out. So I probably say 100% my biggest goal with social media that's helped my career is just gaining more visibility, being out in front of people. And it's kind of funny. I was just making my Thanksgiving, thank you video, and I was thanking everyone who's kind of watched my progression with my videos. And the first one I shot, and Eddie actually shot a video with me a couple months back now.
Right.
And just looking at, it might have been a year almost, but just looking at how I was on camera that time to now, it's like night and day. I was like, oh my gosh. But so it's good to see the progression and growth, and it's really helped my business. And I've gotten a lot of compliments about people wanting to see the consistency and continue watching. So
That is great. And I tell you what, I'm going to fan a little bit. I'm really proud of both of y'all's progressions. You all have come a long way. I know these two young people personally, and I am proud of what they have done. One place that I can absolutely see how far they've come is LinkedIn. So talk to us a little bit about LinkedIn. How can students use this professional tool to jumpstart their career?
I'll go first. So I think LinkedIn is, for me, it's one of the more pre-professional / professional forms of social media. I look at it as, your resume light almost. And I think you can use this tool to start demonstrating your most authentic self, right? Like, we're going to pick a professional photo. That content that you're writing, it's not a very relaxed style of writing. You can really show that you're a good content writer, that you're a creative writer. It doesn't have to necessarily be the formality that you would see in a resume, but it's also not Facebook or Instagram where you're going to be using shorthands. So I think it's a happy medium between those two, and you can really demonstrate your knowledge and mastery of writing there. Your tone can be more casual. And I think that's super important, because a lot of times what I see is our hiring manager gets a resume and looks the person up on LinkedIn, looks the person up on LinkedIn. And we get to see like that they've given us this professional resume. And then have they tailored this to LinkedIn? Can they tailor to their audience? And so we can see how they're switching their writing around. And that's really important for me in marketing, is can you change tone? Can you take one message and convey it in a multitude of tones? I also think it's a great way to be discovered. And this is where I think it's really awesome for students. Depending upon the content you include in there, the types of clubs you list that you're in, the type of work that you list that you've done, you can pop up in people's searches. I live in North Carolina, but I pop up in searches in Oregon and California, and I've been asked to contract and do work remotely for individuals in other states. And it's because of the content that I include in there and the way in which the search engine feature in LinkedIn pulls my profile up. And then another thing, and I think this is more personal growth. I think LinkedIn is one of the tools that it's healthy to go to when things aren't going super well, right? If you've lost your job, if you get laid off, things aren't going well, there's that feature at the bottom, the endorsements and recommendations. Unlike a lot of other social media channels where people can say really mean things, I've noticed on LinkedIn that's not happening in those spaces. And so when you're having a rough day or you lost your job, I've had this happen. And I've gone and I've read the recommendations of my former employers, of my professors, of my research professors. And I'm reminded, I think you can get kicked down a lot in the world, and you can kind of forget you have these skills. People noticed your integrity. They noticed you were kind. And so I think LinkedIn is also helpful for students because it's one of the platforms that you can revisit in those recommendations and endorsements, kind of be reminded of who you are.
That is awesome, and you're absolutely right. I mean, I've never thought about it, but it's a ready-made pick-me-up.
Yeah.
Yeah, SJ, that was great. I don't have much else to add. I would say the only thing that I thought of was it's easy access for companies to find you, and then you can also have an international presence, which I like about it. I don't. I'm not going to say I know the percentage of how many people want to work internationally, but when I was looking at some international real estate opportunities, I was like LinkedIn, first thing to look at because
Mm.
there's not really another platform for that. And then networking, and then lastly, being able to do company research. So when you start, looking for that first career job, being able to look up and know things about the company, look at the size of the company, see if you have any matching mutual friends or connections who work for that company and stuff like that. So I like that about LinkedIn as well too, and I think that's a really good tool that students can use. Or, for example, maybe seeing one of us who they're listening to now is connected to CEO or the hiring manager of one of those companies, and then there's your opportunity to make the connection.
Absolutely great. I want to plug one program that we have coming up. The week when this video will premiere on that Friday, we are doing professional headshots for our students. It's first come, first serve.
Nice.
So yes, ma'am, yes, sir. Get rid of that car selfie in your LinkedIn profile. If you sign up, we'll have a photographer coming in. You'll get a professional headshot emailed back to you. You don't want to miss this opportunity. Okay. So to Sean and SJ, thank you once again. This has been really enlightening. Our students are so much better from having watched this. I appreciate you a great deal. And hey, everybody else, we'll see y'all next time. Thank you.
Thank you.